You walked into a room and forgot why you went there. You reached for someone's name, someone you've known for years, and it just wasn't there. Gone. Like a word erased from a chalkboard. Maybe it happened once. Maybe it's been happening more and more. And maybe, in the quiet moments, you've started to wonder if this is the beginning of something you can't stop. I want you to hear this clearly. What is happening inside your brain right now, tonight, while you sleep, is either working for you or against you. And the most powerful factor determining which one it is has nothing to do with genetics, nothing to do with age, and absolutely nothing to do with the memory supplements filling up late-night television commercials. It has everything to do with what you ate today. Because while you sleep, your brain does something extraordinary. It repairs itself. It rebuilds. It consolidates memory, clears toxic waste, and, if you've given it the right raw materials, it actually grows new connections. 5 specific foods make that repair process dramatically more powerful. And most people over 60 have never been told what they are. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 specific foods that research shows can actively rebuild brain cells, strengthen memory, and support the brain's nightly repair process, particularly in adults over 60. We're talking about foods that have been shown in peer-reviewed studies to increase the brain's production of new neurons by up to 30%, reduce the toxic protein buildup associated with memory loss, improve deep sleep quality by as much as 24%, and restore the kind of mental sharpness that many people assumed was simply gone. This is not about slowing decline. This is about active repair. There is a meaningful difference, and it starts tonight. Before the 5 foods, you need to understand what your brain is actually doing while you sleep. Because once you understand the process, the foods will make complete sense. During deep sleep, specifically the slow-wave sleep stage, your brain activates a biological cleaning and repair system called the glymphatic system. Glymphatic. Think of it as your brain's overnight maintenance crew. While you sleep, cerebrospinal fluid pumps through channels in the brain, flushing out toxic waste products that accumulated during the day. The most important waste product it flushes is beta amyloid, a protein fragment that, when it accumulates, forms the plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline. Your brain produces some beta amyloid naturally every single day. The glymphatic system's job is to clear it every single night. When this system works well, you wake up mentally clear. Memory consolidation, the process of moving information from short-term to long-term storage, completes successfully. New neural connections formed during the day are strengthened. When this system is disrupted by poor sleep, inflammation, nutritional deficiency, or oxidative stress, the waste builds up. The connections weaken. Memory fades. The 5 foods I'm about to share with you directly support and amplify this overnight repair process, each one in a different, targeted way. Food number 1, the memory rebuilder, blueberries. If I could only recommend one food to every person over 60 on the planet for brain health, it would be blueberries. Not a supplement, not an extract, the actual fruit. Here's why. Blueberries are extraordinarily rich in compounds called anthocyanins, the pigments that give them their deep blue-purple color. Anthocyanins are a subclass of polyphenols, and inside the brain, they do something that almost no other dietary compound can do with the same consistency and power. They cross the blood-brain barrier. That's the protective wall between your bloodstream and your brain. Very few substances make it through that wall. Anthocyanins do. And once inside, they concentrate specifically in the regions of the brain most critical for memory, particularly the hippocampus, the structure responsible for forming and retrieving new memories. Inside the hippocampus, anthocyanins do 3 things simultaneously. They reduce neuroinflammation, that chronic, low-grade brain fire I described in other videos. They neutralize free radicals, unstable molecules that damage neurons the way rust damages metal. And they stimulate the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is essentially fertilizer for brain cells. BDNF promotes the growth of new neurons and strengthens the connections between existing ones. A landmark study from the University of Cincinnati found that older adults with mild cognitive impairment who consumed wild blueberry powder daily for 16 weeks showed a 30% improvement in memory performance and significantly increased neural activity in memory-related brain regions compared to a placebo group. 30%, in 16 weeks, from blueberries. A second study published in the European Journal of Nutrition found that a single serving of blueberries improved attention, memory, and psychomotor speed in adults over 60 within just hours of consumption. The practical application is genuinely simple. Every morning, add half a cup of blueberries, fresh or frozen, both work equally well, to whatever you're already eating. Oatmeal, yogurt, a smoothie. The frozen ones are often more affordable and equally potent because they are picked and frozen at peak ripeness, preserving their anthocyanin content. That one daily habit is feeding your hippocampus the exact compounds it needs to repair itself while you sleep tonight. Now blueberries rebuild from within. Our second food approaches brain repair from a completely different angle, protecting the system that does the rebuilding. Food number 2, the overnight cleaner, tart cherry. This one might surprise you, and I want you to pay close attention because the research here is genuinely extraordinary. Tart cherries, specifically the Montmorency variety, are one of the very few foods on Earth that contain a meaningful natural concentration of melatonin. Not the synthetic melatonin in a capsule. Natural, food-derived melatonin that works with your body's own circadian rhythm rather than overriding it. But here's where it gets more interesting than just helping you fall asleep. Remember the glymphatic system, the brain's overnight cleaning crew? That system is almost entirely dependent on the quality of your deep sleep to function. Specifically, it operates most powerfully during slow-wave sleep, the deepest, most restorative sleep stage. If your slow-wave sleep is disrupted, fragmented, or too brief, the glymphatic system cannot complete its work. Beta amyloid accumulates. Toxic waste builds up. Morning brain fog isn't just tiredness, it's the physical evidence of incomplete overnight cleaning. Tart cherries improve sleep quality in a measurable, documented way. They don't just help you fall asleep faster. They extend the proportion of time you spend in deep, restorative sleep, which directly extends the window in which your glymphatic system is doing its most important work. A study from Louisiana State University found that adults who drank tart cherry juice twice daily for 2 weeks increased their sleep time by an average of 84 minutes and showed significant improvements in sleep quality, including deeper sleep stages, compared to a placebo group. 84 minutes of additional restorative sleep, every night. That's 84 additional minutes of glymphatic cleaning, of beta amyloid clearance, of memory consolidation, of brain repair. Tart cherries also contain a potent anti-inflammatory compound called quercetin, which directly reduces neuroinflammation in the brain tissue itself, adding a second layer of neuroprotection on top of the sleep benefit. The practical version: a small glass, about 8 ounces, of unsweetened tart cherry juice in the evening, roughly an hour before bed. Or a handful of dried tart cherries with no added sugar. Or tart cherry concentrate mixed into water. This is widely available, reasonably priced, and, critically, does what the expensive sleep supplements in the pharmacy aisle only claim to do. You are not buying a melatonin capsule. You are giving your brain's cleaning system the conditions it needs to run at full capacity every single night. Now, we've talked about building new neurons and cleaning the brain during sleep. Our third food addresses something even more fundamental: the raw, structural material your brain cells are made of. Food number 3, the brain's building block, fatty fish, sardines, and salmon. Your brain is approximately 60% fat, not metaphorically, literally. The physical structure of every neuron, every brain cell, is built largely from fat. And the most critical fat in that structure is DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, a long-chain omega-3 fatty acid. DHA is not optional for a healthy brain. It is foundational. It forms the membrane of every neuron. It determines how fluid and flexible that membrane is. And membrane flexibility directly determines how efficiently signals pass between brain cells, which is the physical basis of thought, memory, and cognition. As you age past 60, 2 things happen simultaneously that create a brain DHA crisis. First, your body becomes less efficient at synthesizing DHA from dietary precursors. Second, the chronic inflammation associated with aging accelerates the breakdown of DHA in existing neural membranes. The result is a gradual stiffening and degradation of the very membranes your brain cells are built from. This structural decline is one of the key drivers of age-related cognitive decline, and it is directly addressable through diet. A study from the University of Pittsburgh found that adults with higher blood levels of DHA had significantly larger hippocampal volume, meaning their memory centers were physically bigger and better preserved, and performed 23% better on memory tasks than those with low DHA levels. A second study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who consumed fatty fish at least twice a week showed a 47% lower rate of dementia development over a 4-year follow-up period compared to those who rarely ate fish. Now, I specifically want to mention sardines alongside salmon. Salmon is extraordinary, wild-caught ideally. But sardines deserve special recognition for 2 reasons. First, they are among the highest dietary sources of DHA available. Second, they are dramatically more affordable and accessible than salmon for most people around the world. A can of sardines in olive oil, eaten 3 times a week, delivers the same neural rebuilding power as far more expensive fish preparations. Practically, wild salmon baked in the oven with olive oil, garlic, and lemon, 2 to 3 times a week. Sardines on whole grain crackers with avocado. A simple tuna salad, made with olive oil rather than mayonnaise, over greens for lunch. You are not supplementing your brain. You are rebuilding it, literally replacing the degraded structural material in your neural membranes with the exact molecular compound those membranes are designed to be made from. I want to pause here for a moment, because what I've described so far, blueberries, tart cherry, fatty fish, each of these is backed by peer-reviewed, published science from major universities and respected medical journals, and each of them costs less per week than a single bottle of the advanced memory support formula being marketed aggressively to people over 60. The ones with the dramatic television commercials and the celebrity endorsements and the proprietary blends that are not required to prove they do anything at all. The information I'm sharing with you today doesn't generate revenue for anyone. There is no blueberry lobby funding YouTube channels. There is no sardine supplement company with a marketing budget. But this information changes lives. It already has. In the patients I've worked with, in the research I've read, and in conversations I hope these videos are starting in homes around the world. If you believe that honest, science-based health information should be freely available to every person, not just those who can afford the premium wellness market, comment below and say, "I deserve the truth," because that's exactly what this is. Food number 4, the neural protector, walnuts. The walnut looks like a tiny brain. I know that sounds like a folktale, but the resemblance is not entirely coincidental, and the relationship between walnuts and brain health is one of the most well-documented in nutritional neuroscience. Walnuts are the only nut with a significant concentration of ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. They are also exceptionally rich in vitamin E, specifically the tocopherol form, polyphenols, folate, and melatonin. That combination of compounds works on the aging brain through multiple simultaneous pathways. The polyphenols in walnuts directly reduce neuroinflammation and oxidative stress, 2 of the core drivers of age-related memory loss. The vitamin E protects neural membranes from the free radical damage that accelerates cognitive decline. The folate supports the metabolism of homocysteine, an amino acid that, when elevated, is directly toxic to brain cells and has been strongly linked to accelerated cognitive decline and dementia risk. And the melatonin content, yes, walnuts contain natural melatonin, contributes to the same overnight repair enhancement I described with tart cherries. A study from the University of California, Los Angeles, found that adults who regularly consumed walnuts scored significantly higher on cognitive tests, including memory, concentration, and information processing speed, than non-walnut eaters, with the association strongest in adults over 60. A second landmark study published in the Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging followed over 4,000 adults and found that those who consumed walnuts regularly had a cognitive age that was approximately 1.5 years younger than those who didn't, meaning their brains were functioning as if they were younger than their chronological age. The practical prescription is almost embarrassingly simple. A small handful of walnuts, about 7 whole walnuts or 14 halves, every day, eaten as a snack, crushed over oatmeal or yogurt in the morning, tossed into a salad, mixed into a small bowl of blueberries with a drizzle of honey. That daily handful is delivering polyphenols, vitamin E, ALA, folate, and natural melatonin directly to the most complex organ in your body, simultaneously protecting it, fueling it, and supporting the overnight repair process that preserves your memory. Now, walnuts protect from the outside in. Our final food works from the inside out, targeting the very mechanism by which your brain communicates with itself. Food number 5, the synapse restorer, eggs. The fifth food on this list is one that's been unnecessarily feared, unnecessarily restricted, and, for cognitive health specifically, extraordinarily undervalued. Eggs contain one of the highest concentrations of choline of any food available. Choline is an essential nutrient, meaning your body cannot make enough of it on its own. You must get it from food. And choline is the direct precursor to acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter most fundamentally involved in memory, learning, and attention. Let me put this simply. Acetylcholine is the chemical your brain uses to send memory signals. It is the messenger that tells one neuron to communicate with the next. It is involved in virtually every act of remembering, retrieving a name, recalling a conversation, navigating a familiar route. In Alzheimer's disease and in age-related cognitive decline, acetylcholine production and signaling are among the first and most severely affected systems. The most widely prescribed Alzheimer's medications, drugs like donepezil, work by preventing the breakdown of acetylcholine. They try to preserve what's left. Eating adequate choline through eggs supports the upstream end of that same pathway. Instead of slowing the breakdown, you are increasing the production. You are giving your brain more of the raw material it needs to make the messenger chemical that memory depends on. A study from the University of Eastern Finland found that men with the highest choline intake had a 28% lower risk of dementia over a 22-year follow-up period, compared to those with the lowest choline intake. The association was dose-dependent, meaning more choline, lower risk, consistently across the full range of the study. A second study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that higher dietary choline was significantly associated with better performance on verbal memory tests and faster processing speed in older adults. 2 eggs per day provides approximately 300 milligrams of choline, roughly 55% of the recommended daily intake for older adults. 2 eggs scrambled in olive oil with spinach and turmeric for breakfast. 2 eggs poached over roasted vegetables for lunch. 2 hard-boiled eggs as an afternoon snack paired with a handful of walnuts. Eggs also contain lutein, a carotenoid compound that accumulates in the brain tissue of older adults and has been independently associated with better cognitive function and slower memory decline. 0 carbohydrates, complete protein. The precursor to your memory neurotransmitter, natural lutein for brain tissue protection. Eggs are one of the most nutrient-dense, brain-protective foods available to you, at one of the lowest price points of anything on this list. Don't fear them. Eat them. Your memory needs what's inside them. I want to close with something I believe deeply. Memory is not just a cognitive function. It is identity. It is the thread that connects who you were to who you are to who you are still becoming. When memory fades, even gradually, even in small ways, it touches something profound. Something that matters beyond any medical chart or clinical measurement. You are not helpless in the face of that. The research I've shared today makes that clear. Your brain retains a remarkable capacity for repair and renewal at 60, at 70, at 80, and beyond. The science calls it neuroplasticity. I call it hope. And it is real. The foods on this list are not magic. They are not a cure, but they are powerful, evidence-backed tools that give your brain what it needs to do what it is already designed to do: repair, renew, and remember. If this video gave you something useful, something to bring to your breakfast table tomorrow, or to share with someone you love, please consider subscribing. Every week, I'm here with the same commitment: honest information, clear science, nothing to sell. Next week, I'm going to cover the 4 daily habits that research shows can physically increase the size of your hippocampus, your brain's memory center, within just 90 days. Habits so accessible that anyone can start them tomorrow. The science behind them is some of the most exciting I've read in years. You won't want to miss it. Until then, sleep well, eat well, and know this: every good night of sleep, every handful of blueberries, every egg on your plate is a quiet act of care for the most extraordinary organ you will ever possess. Your brain built your entire life. It deserves this.